Thirst drove an old man into a forest, and justice itself followed close behind him. Cairo lived under Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, a ruler whose fairness was already legend among his people. Even criminals whispered his name with dread, knowing his court never let cruelty hide for long. Yet none of that mattered to one exhausted farmer, digging beneath a punishing afternoon sun. His pouch was empty, his throat burning, his old body aching for even a single sip. The village well nearby had turned shallow and useless, offering nothing but disappointment and settling dust. Deep in a nearby forest stood a second well, famous across the region for its sweetness. He weighed exhaustion against thirst for a long moment, then finally turned toward the waiting trees. Finally, deep in the forest's heart, the ancient well appeared beneath one enormous, leaning tree. He drank gratefully, filled his pouch completely, and let his tired, old body finally rest. Sitting beneath the tree, he glanced sideways, and his entire world suddenly froze in horror. A young girl's lifeless body lay only a few terrible steps away, half hidden in shadow. Her face was twisted in terror, her body marked cruelly with signs of brutal violence. The pouch slipped from his trembling hand, and his knees buckled beneath sudden, overwhelming dread. For a long moment he could not move, only stare, gripped completely by disbelief and grief. Who could commit such cruelty and simply vanish without leaving behind a single trace? He turned and ran, refusing to let this darkness disappear unpunished. Forgotten and buried forever, fear no longer mattered to him. Only truth did, even if it cost him everything. He ran as though fire itself chased his feet through the darkening, narrowing forest trail. Dusk was settling over the village just as he reached the judge's tightly shut door. Only one desperate word kept escaping him, over and over: justice, justice, justice now. The startled guard opened the door, then froze instantly at the old man's wild, pleading eyes. But the judge, he soon learned, had left 3 days earlier for a distant, unreachable city. Despair swallowed him whole for a moment, until something sharper than fear finally took its place. If not the judge himself, then surely the Sultan alone would hear his desperate plea. He straightened his ragged clothes and walked steadily straight toward the towering, sunlit fortress gates. There, tall guards stood watchful and armored, fiercely loyal to their already legendary young ruler. "I must see the Sultan now," he said, his voice cracking, yet somehow unmistakably firm. Word rushed inside immediately, and within moments, all of Cairo seemed to hold its breath. "Secure the body at once," the Sultan commanded, "and question every single witness without delay. Find whoever committed this," he added coldly, "even if they hide beneath the very earth." Soldiers moved instantly, heads bowing low as their ruler rose sharply from his waiting throne. "You have done your duty," the Sultan told him gently. "Now watch what real justice does." At the well, soldiers searched every branch and stone, examining each disturbed patch of soil. The body was lifted gently and treated with a reverence, reserved only for sacred evidence. A broken bracelet surfaced from the dirt nearby, though it revealed absolutely no clear answers. Two woodcutters working close by were questioned first, yet their eyes betrayed practiced, uneasy silence. Then a traveling merchant suddenly stepped forward, claiming he had witnessed everything from a safe distance. He described a tall, cloaked stranger fleeing north, urging soldiers to chase that direction immediately. Soldiers rode hard for hours through darkness, only to find nothing but empty, mocking roads. The merchant, it turned out, had lied, hoping reward money would follow his invented, convenient story. Soldiers returned to court ashamed, reporting failure before their patient, silently waiting Sultan once more. The true witnesses stayed silent, and one desperate liar had cost them their only real lead. The Sultan stared upward, quietly wondering whether even the earth itself could testify for justice. Then the old farmer, who had stayed nearby, cleared his throat and spoke once more. "My lord," he said carefully, "that field sits close enough to hear even a struggle." The Sultan turned sharply toward him. "How close, exactly, did this farmer's land truly lie?" "Close enough," the old man answered firmly, "that footsteps could easily have been felt nearby." Something sudden and sharp sparked behind the Sultan's tired eyes, certain and completely unmistakable. So where, he wondered aloud, had that very farmer been during the girl's brutal murder? A quiet and unusual strategy began forming slowly behind his calm, calculating royal expression. "Bring me a donkey," he demanded suddenly, silencing every confused whisper across the entire court. "Release it into the farmer's crop," he ordered calmly, right beside the fateful well. "Whoever complains first about the ruined field," he added, "arrest that man without hesitation." The donkey wandered happily into the green field, chewing calmly without a single visible care. Minutes passed in tense silence, until a furious farmer suddenly came running across his land. "Whose donkey ruined my entire crop?" he shouted, storming furiously straight toward the waiting soldiers. They seized him instantly and marched him straight before the Sultan's stern, waiting court. "When one single plant is eaten, you scream and come running," the Sultan said coldly. "Yet when a girl was murdered right here, you apparently heard absolutely nothing at all." "I was afraid," he whispered weakly, refusing to meet the Sultan's piercing, unforgiving gaze. "No," the Sultan answered calmly, "you weren't afraid. You were simply hiding everything completely." "Hiding truth," he added sharply, "makes a coward complicit in someone else's terrible crime." The mask finally cracked, and the farmer's resolve shattered under mounting, unbearable pressure at last. "Forgive me," he begged desperately. "I did not kill her, but I know who did." Masked men, he confessed quietly, had dragged a screaming girl through these very same trees. "I hid there, terrified, unable to stop what happened right before my own eyes." "Did you recognize any of them?" the Sultan asked, his voice remaining dangerously calm throughout. "One mask slipped briefly," he admitted, revealing a deep scar across a stranger's cheek. "That scar," the Sultan said firmly, "will become the very key that unlocks justice. Search every young man throughout this city, in every market, mosque, and quiet corner." Soldiers scattered instantly through Cairo, hunting for one single detail: a scarred, guilty face. A soldier finally noticed a young man breaking stones alone in a dusty corner. Sweat glistened across his face, and as he looked up, the old scar appeared clearly. He was seized instantly and dragged forward, protesting his innocence with trembling, unconvincing words. "Confess now," he warned firmly, "or face a punishment far worse than confession itself." "I only carried messages," the young man admitted quietly, warning them about approaching travelers. "I never touched her," he insisted desperately, "but I know exactly who truly did." "Who?" the Sultan demanded sharply. "And where exactly can we find this coward now?" "His name is Atiq, the true mastermind hiding somewhere beyond the forest's darkened edge. He robs passing caravans, kidnaps innocent women, and hides within crumbling, forgotten ancient ruins. Send soldiers now," the Sultan ordered firmly, "and bring this dangerous criminal back alive immediately." Before nightfall fully arrived, chosen soldiers vanished silently beyond the darkening, whispering forest edge. They surrounded the ruins quietly, weapons ready beneath a moonless and utterly silent evening sky. One single signal, and drunken guards were captured swiftly before they could even react. Inside waited captives, frightened women and children scarred deeply by years of relentless cruelty. Suddenly, Atiq burst violently through a door, fighting fiercely alongside two loyal, desperate men. He was disarmed swiftly and pinned down, his violence finally rendered completely useless now. "We serve Salahuddin," a soldier said firmly. "We deliver justice, never senseless, empty revenge." Atiq was dragged back to Cairo in chains, his long reign of terror finally ended. When Atiq stood there at last, the Sultan spoke only one final, crushing sentence. "Justice survives on this earth," he said, "only by punishing every tyrant who defies it." The court fell utterly silent as sentence was carried out before the watching, grateful crowd. Then the Sultan called the brave, old farmer forward, honoring his courage before everyone. He took the old man's trembling hands and thanked him simply for refusing silence. "You gave this murdered girl a voice," the Sultan said, when everyone else stayed quiet. The old man simply answered, "I only ever wanted the water I first went searching for." That single, humble truth, born from simple thirst, had finally exposed a hidden evil. It was thirst that first led him forward, and courage that carried him further still. Where truth is spoken bravely, tyranny cannot survive. Where silence rules, cruelty always quietly does.